Albert, I'm going to speak to you in a sort of intimate, virtual one-on-one by proxy. I urge you to discard the Catholic occult and adopt a true-to-reality worldview. Make no mistake about it, Albert, Catholicism is of the occult, as both WordNet.Princeton and Webster's Online define it as supernatural forces and events and beings collectively. Thus, since Catholicism invokes the notion of a supernatural God with supernatural powers, Catholicism is of the occult. I think you are intelligent enough to leave the Catholic occult behind, Albert, and not mire yourself in the Neanderthal thinking and superstition of yore. Abdil, I'm going to speak to you as well as if by intimate one-on-one via virtual proxy. Listen, man, I think it's time for you to let go of the Catholic occult. Catholicism is erroneous, as it is based on the fallacy of the stolen concept. The Catholic God is said to have created everything, as asserted by the Nicene Creed. Thus, Catholicism asserts by implication that God created existence itself, since existence is obviously a part of everything. This notion commits the fallacy of the stolen concept. This is because existence, conceived as broadly as possible, cannot find its source in a model or instantiation of conscious intentionality, for such a notion is utterly ridiculous, since that model or instantiation will already have to exist. Thus, if the model or instantiation of consciousness were already extant, then it becomes blatantly obvious that existence could not find its source therein. Abiram, the longer you hold to the Catholic mythology, the more you indulge in a cognitive error, which fallacies are. Black Kappa, I strongly believe you deserve better than to have your core beliefs centered around something as inanely foolish and preposterous as the Trinity. Since the notion of three persons within one essence has no basis in reality, it cannot be distinguished from what you are merely imagining. This means the Trinity and Catholicism with it is meaningless. But even worse, since one cannot distinguish between reality and fantasy in regards to the Trinity, it blurs the line between the two and thus bastardizes logic and reason in favor of outright mysticism. I urge you to let go of your mystic faith, Black Kappa, and embrace reality and man's progress away from barbaric superstitions and theistic ignorance. Brett, you are more than just an animal, since you do have access to the laws of logic and can use logic in conceptual form, but this is not available to you on Catholicism, since your mythology does not provide the necessary preconditions to ground the laws of logic. This is because the Catholic God is not universal and thus is not axiomatic. This means your use of logic and the laws of logic is illegitimate, consistent with your worldview. Brett, it is my hope that you let go of the Catholic occult and embrace the light of logic. You are greater than an animal, but only if you assume the truth of my worldview. And it is my aspiration that you will see that objectivism can provide the fount that allows the laws of logic to be objectively actualized. David, is it not time to resign your Catholic superstitions and take up the flag of rationality and reason? Consistent with your Catholic worldview, you can't know anything and must deny the external world, since the Catholic God is not undeniably true. Not being so, you beg the question on everything you presuppose. David, this does not have to be. Subsume a true-to-life worldview. I respectfully suggest objectivism or secular humanism.